Before we begin, make sure you're subscribed, because the stories we share here are not just about talent. They're about hope, struggle, and moments that change lives forever. If you believe music can transform destiny, stay with us until the very end. They used to sing on the streets of Manila, where the noise of traffic often drowned out their voices and people passed by, without looking twice. Every morning before the city fully woke up, they stood near old storefronts and crowded sidewalks, holding a worn-out guitar with missing strings. Their shoes were dusty, their clothes faded, but their voices carried something money could never buy: passion, pain, and a dream too big for the streets. That raised them. For years, music was not a choice for them. It was survival. Some days they earned just enough to buy rice. Other days, nothing at all. But even when the crowd ignored them, they sang like the world was listening. They sang because it reminded them they were still alive. They sang because giving up would mean letting go of the only thing that made sense in their lives. Late at night, after the streets emptied, they talked about impossible dreams. One name kept coming up in their conversations: Simon Cowell, a man they had only seen on a cracked phone screen, a judge known for stopping performances, crushing dreams, and telling harsh truths. To them, standing in front of him felt more unreal than winning the lottery. But fate has a strange way of listening to desperate prayers. Through borrowed internet, endless forms, and a video recorded on an old phone, they sent their audition. They didn't expect a reply. Weeks passed. Then months, until one day, a message arrived that made their hands shake. They had been invited to audition on the biggest stage in the world. The journey from Manila to that stage felt like stepping into another universe. Bright lights replaced street lamps. Silence replaced chaos. As they stood backstage, their hearts raced faster than they ever had on the streets. Their hands trembled, not from hunger this time, but from fear. Fear of failure, fear of being judged, fear of going back home with nothing. When they finally walked onto the stage, the audience saw what they always see first: simple clothes, nervous faces. No dramatic entrance, just ordinary people carrying extraordinary hope. Simon Cowell leaned back in his chair, arms crossed, expression unreadable. He had seen thousands like them before. Dreamers, singers, people who believed this moment would change everything. He asked where they were from. Manila, they replied. He asked what they did for a living. We sing on the streets, they said quietly. A few murmurs rippled through the audience. Simon nodded, slightly skeptical, slightly curious. He asked them why they believed they deserved to be there. One of them swallowed hard and said, "Because music is the only thing that never abandoned us." The room went silent. They took a deep breath. The first note left their lips and something shifted instantly. It wasn't just singing. It was storytelling through sound. Years of struggle poured into every word. Hunger echoed in their harmonies. Hope trembled in their high notes. The audience leaned forward, drawn into a world far away from polished studios and perfect lives. Then, something unexpected happened. Simon Cowell raised his hand. The music stopped. Gasps filled the theater. For a split second, their worst fear came true. They thought it was over. They thought this was the moment they would be told to leave, just like people had ignored them on the streets. One of them closed their eyes, preparing for disappointment. Simon leaned forward. And then he said words no one expected. "Stop, I need to say something." The tension was unbearable. He paused, looking directly at them. "I've heard thousands of voices on this stage," Simon said slowly. "But what you're doing right now, it's not just singing, it's truth." The audience erupted into applause. Simon continued, "I stopped you because I didn't want to miss a single note. I wanted everyone in this room to really listen." Tears streamed down their faces. Simon asked them to start again. This time they sang without fear. Their voices soared higher, stronger, freer. The judges smiled. The audience wiped tears from their eyes. Some stood up before the song even ended. When the final note faded, the entire theater rose to its feet. Standing ovation. Simon stood too. That, he said, is why this show exists. The judges praised not just their voices, but their journey. They spoke about resilience, about how talent doesn't need wealth to be powerful, and how pain can turn into beauty when given a voice. When the votes came in, it was unanimous. Yes, yes, yes. As they left the stage, overwhelmed and shaking, one of them whispered, "We don't have to sing on the streets anymore. But the truth was, the streets never left them. They carried those sidewalks, those long nights, those ignored performances into every note they sang. And that is what made the world stop and listen. Their story traveled far beyond that stage. It reached people who felt invisible, people who believed their dreams were too small, too late, or too impossible. And it reminded everyone watching that sometimes the most powerful voices come from the places no one is looking. They sang on the streets of Manila. Then Simon Cowell stopped the show. And in that moment, their lives changed forever.